Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lupercall, and you're joining me for a Let's Play of Morrowind. A little backstory before we get started. I had originally and had every intention of basing this channel around Fallout 76. And we all know that Fallout 76 is a raging, roaring dumpster fire. It's an inferno of all the worst combinations of garbage that you can imagine. I don't get how there's YouTubers out there doing Let's Plays, delving into the story, delving into the lore, when, sure, this is a matter of opinion, but it's also fact. I played about 4 hours and I could not keep going. It was so bad. I gotta say, Fallout 76 is the worst thing to happen to us since No Man's Sky. And No Man's Sky has turned it around. They did a good job. However, I'm never going back. They lost me. I'm getting a little sidetracked here. The good thing, in a way, that Fallout 76 did do is it pushed me into the arms of Morrowind. I can't tell you how long I've been wanting to play Morrowind. I originally got Morrowind on the original Xbox, put in about 15 to 20 hours, and I can't tell you what made me stop, but I did not keep going, which is kind of ridiculous because at the time, 15 to 20 hours in, it was getting so good. I was so into it, and as many of you know, you can't just put 15 to 20 hours into an Elder Scrolls game. You're barely scratching the surface. And you can easily put 100 hours, 200 hours into an Elder Scrolls game and still have a lot to do. In this case, I am coming back to Morrowind with an open mind and a modded version of Morrowind. I'm not a big modder, so this was a bit of an ordeal, but I was able to set up the graphics extender or the Morrowind overhaul. And I just fired up the game to make sure everything was working okay, but I gotta say, it brought the game to for the most part, modern day standards, and it looks beautiful. So I'm starting to babble. Let's just go ahead and get started. Each event is preceded by prophecy, but without the hero, there is no event. Zurin Aratus. In the waning years of the Third Era of Tamriel, a prisoner born on a certain day to uncertain parents was sent under guard without explanation to Morrowind, ignorant of the role he was to play in that nation's history.
They have taken you from the Imperial City's prison, first by carriage and now by boat. To the east, to Morrowind. Fear not, for I am watchful. You have been chosen.
Wake up. We're here. Why are you shaking? Are you okay? Wake up.
That's taking a little long. What's going on here?
Stand up. There you go.
Okay.
You were dreaming.
Little
What's
hitch
your
there.
name?
Lupercall.
Well, not even last night's storm could wake you.
Giub.
I heard them say we've reached Morrowind. I'm sure they'll let us go. Quiet. Here comes the guard.
This is where you get off. Come with me.
Okay.
You better do what they say.
So, when I fired this up earlier, I noticed there's skulls and bones over here. It's just kind of like, Man, what was going on this ship and the hull of this ship. Let's keep going. Wow, the lighting and shadows look so good. Believe me when I tell you, the original game in its original state does not look like this.
Get yourself up on deck and let's keep this as civil as possible.
Sure thing, guy.
The sooner you leave, the sooner we can move on.
Even that bread looks great.
Yes, confused?
Can't lose.
We're all
can't
waiting.
loot stuff yet, though. Here we go. Oh wow. Wow, this looks great.
This is where they want you. Head down to the dock and I'll show you to the census office.
Even the mod brings up to date bodies and faces.
Let's go. Move it along.
Believe me when I tell you, the original game's characters did not look good. This always trips me out, how this curlicue on this ship is here. It's almost like they grew it or shaped it by magic. That's probably the likely explanation. The view distance, the draw distance in original Morrowind as well, was so short that you wouldn't even be able to see this stuff out here. Oh wow, I just realized there's reflections on the water. This is great. Most games don't get water effects right, but this looks really good. Alright, let's go.
You finally arrived, but our records don't show from where.
I actually kind of built my character so that I wouldn't get stuck. It's easy to get stuck creating some of these characters. I want to play a Dark Elf. This is Morrowind, the home of the Dark Elves, so I'm going to pick one. Cool thing about each race is each race comes with some special abilities. Some are passive and some are actual abilities where you can cast spells or certain attacks and whatnot. One of the specials here is Ancestor Guardian. It's Sanctuary, 50 points for 60 seconds on self. The other ability, which is a passive, is called Resist Fire, and this is Resist Fire by 75%. That means all the Dark Elves in this game negate 75% of any damage that's inflicted on them. So while that's great and all, if you plan to be a magic user, you might not want to use fire spells too much. On animals and creatures that attack you, sure, but you will encounter a lot of Dark Elves, and so you'll probably want to pick up some different magic. Lightning, ice, there's poison magic in this game too, so that way you have some options, you don't get stuck. And there are some other bonuses that Dark Elves get. Important to me are light armor, not light armor, long blade, marksman, mysticism, and of course destruction.
Great. I'm sure you'll fit right in. Follow me up to the office and they'll finish your release.
Okay. Oh, and that's a Silt Strider. For those of you who don't know, that's the fast travel node, I guess you could say, in this game, where it's a vehicle, and it's pretty interesting because that's a shell on this creature, and there's a compartment hollowed out in the shell that's where you and other passengers ride, as well as the operator. And apparently the operator of the Silt Strider manipulates the Silt Strider's organs, and that's what gets it to go. I mean, just hope he doesn't have cold hands. And oh yeah, this kind of interests me. I've never been up there in my original playthrough, and sure, it's connected to this building, so maybe you can come out from inside of there, but there is a levitation spell in this game, and well, it would be interesting to levitate up to that and pick the lock, do some thieving. I'll have to come back to this. And I really can't get over how much better this game looks
Head on in.
with this graphics extender mod. Okay.
Ah, yes, we've been expecting you. You'll have to be recorded before you're officially released. There are a few ways we can do this, and the choice is yours.
Okay, you can actually answer his questions to generate your class. You can give him the info, which actually gives you this roster of all the classes in the game, or you can fill out forms yourself, which is what I'm going to do. Both of these are pretty interesting, especially the one where you answer questions. That's definitely kind of like a role-playing thing. But a lot of those classes have some, I wouldn't say wasted skills, but some of them are, you don't want all those skills. You want to be able to pick and choose, and having some knowledge of the game definitely helps, as I'll explain in a second. But I definitely recommend picking your own skills. In this case, I'm naming my class of Bladesinger, and for anybody who's played the original Icewind Dale games, you might remember Bladesingers. You're at some point in the game, you're investigating a wizard's tower, and you come across this ghost who tells you his story and the story of the region, what happened, and there had been a battle. And these Bladesingers, they were this elite force of warriors who were skilled in combat, melee combat, as well as in magic. And so they were powerful warriors, and the whole point of the story was like, even with the Bladesingers' help, they still lost. They lost the tower, and people got turned into ghosts because it was an unjust war and whatnot. It was pretty. It stuck with me for some reason. So I never forgot the whole Bladesinger thing, and I think I always try to emulate in the games I play what a Bladesinger would be like. So my specialization will be combat, so melee attacks and whatnot. My favorite attributes will be strength. Strength affects your starting health, how much you can carry, your maximum fatigue, and how much damage you do in melee. What it also doesn't tell you is that strength also affects how much damage you do with marksman. So there are throwing weapons in Morrowind, pretty much ninja stars. Throwing daggers, I think, too. And of course, marksman includes bows and crossbows as well. Intelligence determines your maximum amount of magicka, and magicka, of course, is needed to cast spells. The more magicka you have, the more you can cast, and there are some spells that are pretty expensive, so I definitely want more magicka. The cool thing about Morrowind is that the magic system is more complex, and I do think that you can play Morrowind more than you can play Oblivion or Skyrim as a magic user. The magic seems to do more damage. There's a magic crafting system in this game where you can make more powerful spells, and it's fun. It's better all around. So that's why I'm picking these two stats. Willpower is very important, as it goes hand in hand with intelligence, and in some Let's Plays and guides you'll see that they'll recommend willpower as one of your primary attributes, but I'm going to go with strength and intelligence, and I'll explain why willpower is important in a second. Let me start picking my major skills though. I'm going to go with heavy armor. Going to use long blade. The cool thing about long blades in this game is you can use one-handed swords and two-handed swords. The skill includes both, so you don't necessarily have to. It's not like Skyrim, where you have two-handed weapons and then you have single-handed, one-handed weapons. So I'll have heavy armor, long blade. We'll throw in destruction. We'll throw in security. Security is, locks and disarming traps. And we'll throw in restoration, because we are going to be taking damage, and you're going to want to be able to cast healing. But the crazy thing about restoration in this game, and the game in general, is that enemies can attack you with stat draining spells, and you can actually get hit with a drain strength or drain endurance spell, and if you get hit with one of those, your carry weight gets reduced, and you'll have to, unless you have a restore strength or restore endurance spell or potion available to you, you have to drop stuff and make your way back to town and be able to restore yourself back to your normal stat, that is. The thing is, this game doesn't have a fast travel system. There is a spell that will teleport you to the nearest temple, but there we go. There's a spell system where you have to be able to cast a spell in the first place. So I can get long-winded in going into that, but restoration is important. Let's leave it at that. And we will pick up armor, which will allow you to repair your armor and weapons. We'll pick up marksman. I do want to use bows and crossbows and throwing weapons. It sounds fun. We will pick up mysticism. We'll pick up enchant, although I saw it was already an option there. And we will pick up alchemy. Now, really quickly, let me explain some of the stuff I got. There is a plan here. So heavy armor is governed by endurance. Long blade is governed by strength. Destruction is willpower. Security is governed by intelligence. Restoration is willpower. Armor is strength. Marksman is agility. Now I think agility it governs how well you're defended. So how much armor rating you have and how well you will be able to block. Mysticism is governed by willpower. Enchant is intelligence. And alchemy is intelligence. So if you've played Oblivion, you'll be pretty familiar with this, but let me explain briefly that when you level up a skill, in this case endurance, depending on how many times I level up heavy armor, I will have a multiplier for endurance. So you can get 2, 3, 4, 5 multiplier, and you'll get that much more stat when you level up. Same thing with strength, destruction, which is willpower. Let me explain willpower really quick. I'm actually reading this from the Morrowind wiki. Willpower is the governing attribute for alteration, destruction, mysticism, and restoration. It affects your ability to successfully cast spells of any college. This includes conjuration and illusion. Even though they are governed by intelligence and personality, respectively, this just means that if raised, they give bonuses to raising those stats when leveling up. Your ability to innately resist, paralyze, and silence magic. So willpower passively, and it saves you from being paralyzed sometimes, which is pretty major, because if you get paralyzed by an enemy, you are pretty much at their mercy until you recover. And it also affects your maximum fatigue. Fatigue is, there's going to be a red bar, a green bar, and a blue bar down here. Fatigue is the green bar, and it affects your ability to swing a weapon and how long you can run for before you get tired, I guess you could say. The crazy thing is, the game doesn't tell you this, is that when your fatigue is low, it also reduces your chance to hit and your chance to successfully cast a spell. I might be wrong about that one. It does affect your chance to hit though. So you want a really good reserve of fatigue. And apparently willpower affects spells and your fatigue. So, that being said, this looks good. I'm going to accept it. I could get stuck talking, so let's keep going.
Very good. The letter that preceded you mentioned you were born under a certain sign. And what would that be?
Okay, so there are several different signs, and you might be reminded of the standing stones in Skyrim. In this case, these are birth signs. And what that means is, in this case, we have the apprentice. So there are pros and cons to each of these. The apprentice, for example, has a passive here which says it fortifies your maximum magicka by 1.5 times whatever your intelligence stat is. That's pretty good. However, you also have a weakness to magicka. You're 50% more weak to magicka. So that means magic spells are going to mess you up. I wouldn't take that. There are a lot of magic users in the game that you come against. Let's see. The Atronach, spell absorption, 50 points. Fortify maximum magicka, 2 times your intelligence. That's great. But you have stunted magicka. Not too sure what that means. I'm guessing you just have less. I don't want that. I do know I want the mage, which fortifies your maximum magicka by 0.5 of your intelligence. So let's say my magicka is 50. I think that means I'm going to end up with half more, so 25 points. That'll probably give me 75 points of magicka starting out, which I think is pretty good. So I'm taking it.
Interesting. Now, before I stamp these papers, make sure this information is correct.
Okay. I mean, this looks good. I clearly just chose everything, so... Oh, what do you know? I think I was right. Let's keep going. You now have a stats menu where you can always view your information. Right-clicking allows you to use your menus. When you are done with them, right-click again to close them.
Show your papers to the captain when you exit to get your release fee.
Okay. Read your papers by pressing E while looking at them, then select Take to pick them up. And I gotta tell you, this alone, this scroll here, looks so much more better. Looks so much better than what you actually saw in the original game from Morrowind. So this says, for release by Emperor Ariel Septim the Seventh's decree to the district of Ardenfell and the province of Morrowind. Name, Lupikal. Race, Dark Elf. Class, Bladesinger. Signed, Socusius Urgala, agent of the Satanine Imperial Census and Excise. 16th of last seed, 3E 427. Take. You now have an inventory menu where you can see what you are carrying. Like all menus, right-click to use your new menu. You can click and move objects from the world to your inventory. So let's do a little demonstration. Let's see. This limeware platter, and I actually know this already coming into the game, but starting out, you're going to be pretty starved for cash. That being said, that's pretty valuable. Limeware platter weighs 5 pounds, but it's worth 650 gold. So let's do some shenanigans really quick. I'm going to take this, drop it on the ground. They're going to notice that I took it, but I'm going to take it, open my menu, drop it on the ground, and then this guard's going to come and accost me, and it's going to let me go. Then I can pick it back up. If I had it in my inventory still, they would take it from me. But because I dropped it on the ground, I'll be able to pick it up, and then I can go sell it and get a nice little cash injection starting out. So let's take it. Oops. There we go. And drop it. There it is. And let myself get chewed out. What are you doing? We'll let your actions go for now, but once you're released, stuff like that will get you arrested again. Yeah, whatever, man. Goodbye. And I'll pick it back up. And now it's in my inventory. Limeware platter. Kind of funny. I know it's not necessarily cheese in the game. It's there for you to take if you want to. And if you hold tab, you can actually see what your character looks like. Even with the mod, he looks a little funny, but I don't know. I like it. It works for me. And once you start getting armor and stuff, your guy's gonna look pretty cool. So let's get going.
Continue through to the next building and talk to Celisgravius.
Oh, that armor looks so cool now. It looked cool anyway in the base game, the vanilla game, but it looks so much better now. So this is an interesting area. We're still in the little tutorial here. You should learn how to do combat. Pick up the dagger on the table by activating it with E. So, here's the dagger. Let's pick it up. Equip the dagger by dropping it on your picture in your inventory menu. So, right click. There's the worn iron dagger. You'll notice that here it says chop, slash, and thrust. Each weapon has several different kinds of attacks, and it's all based on how you're moving when you're swinging your weapon. So if you're stepping forward or stepping backwards, you'll thrust. If you're stepping to the side, you'll slash, and I think if you're standing still, you'll chop. There is an option in the menu, the game's menu, to always use best attack, but I think I'm going to keep it a little difficult and just have to pay attention to my footwork. Let's equip that dagger. Press F to pull out your weapon. Once your weapon is readied, hold and release the left mouse button to swing it. The harder you swing it, the more damage it does, but the more fatigue you will drain. try it out. So as I said before, standing still, you'll chop. Stepping side to side, you'll do a slash. More of a swipe to me, but and then stepping backwards and forwards and backwards, you do a thrust. So pretty simple. You could kind of forget it when you're in the heat of combat, but try to remember. I'm gonna steal stuff now. Like I said, you kind of want a little bit of a cash injection before leaving the starting area of the game, because it helps to be equipped with certain things. So let's take this candelabra. Equip lights and torches in the inventory menu. Lights and torches can only be used for a limited time before they burn out. Let me see. Get the silverware platter, silver bowl, crab meat. You can eat ingredients by equipping them on your character in the inventory menu. Ingredients have different properties. Some may hurt you, and some may help. Equip lockpicks in the inventory menu. Try picking the lock of the small chest on the shelf. So I just picked up a lockpick, and I will show you guys how it's done in a second. Flynn. Oh, that's neat. This is worth 100 gold. Let's take it. Fortify willpower 20 points for 60 seconds. Fortify strength 20 points for 60 seconds. This regional liquor acts like a potion. To drink potions, equip them in the inventory menu. So I'll take some messing with. Let's do this bread. Oh yeah, this dagger was stuck in this note. It says, Hriskar, don't think I've forgotten our wager. I want this dagger as sharp as a scamp's claw by morning. Gansiel. I'm not going to take it. Let's take this bread in the basket. And coming back here, this is a little chest here. Let's equip the lockpick, apprentice's lockpick. And I'll toggle my sneak, take out the lockpick, just like that. Pick the lock. And it's a little hard to see there. I just see a 1, but if I'm not mistaken, yeah, that's 31 gold. I'll take that. And I'll take some of this other stuff. Let's put the dagger back in my hand. The Firmament. This is interesting. Even the book's cover changed. That's cool. The Firmament by, I think that's a Folky. And it says here, the stars of Tamriel are divided into 13 constellations. 3 of them are the major constellations, known as the Guardians. These are the Warrior, the Mage, and the Thief. Each of the Guardians protects its 3 charges from the 13th constellation, the Serpent. When the sun rises near one of the constellations, it is that constellation's season. Each constellation has a season of approximately 1 month. The Serpent has no season, for it moves about in the heavens, usually threatening one of the other constellations. So, I will go to my birth sign, the Mage. The Mage is a guardian constellation whose season is Rain's Hand, when Magicka was first used by men. His charges are the Apprentice, the Golem, and the Ritual. Those born under the Mage have more Magicka and talent for all kinds of spellcasting, but are often arrogant and absent-minded. That's pretty cool, minus the arrogance and absent-mindedness. I will take this because I will sell it. Let's see what else is here. Mazte. But it weighs 5 and is worth 10. I'll take it anyway. Usually you don't want something where the weight and value are so, it's heavy for worth so little, but I'll take it anyway. I will take the silverware. And this is a large kwama egg. It is an alchemical ingredient. You see there are 3 question marks there below restore fatigue. I happen to know the first effect of this ingredient because alchemy is a minor skill of mine. Usually you would see only question marks if you didn't have any skills in alchemy. So that's interesting. Take that. Let's clear these baskets. These are alchemical ingredients. Crab meat, scrib jerky, and a small kwama egg. That's not actually an alchemical ingredient because it has no question marks. But it does restore fatigue, so I'll take it, and I'll just take all of them. And this basket too, I'll just take all. Don't need to read every description. You can when you're ready to do some alchemy stuff. And that's a whole other explanation on its own too. Let's see. Basket. What's this? Glass bottle. It's only worth 1. Same thing. We got netch leather and grave dust. Just take all. I'll just take all. I just know I'll be glad I have this stuff later. Take all. It's like a starter pack, adventurous starter pack. Everything that this that's in this office space. Okay, let's get going. All right, we're almost done with the whole intro of the first area. You now have a map menu that shows you the name of the place you are in and the direction you're facing. So let's look at that. We have one more window that'll get added in a second, but there's our map. And then you click on World Map, and you can see how big Morrowind is. I still feel like this isn't a good representation. That was part of the mod there. It's not a cat in my room. And we're just down here. And the cool thing about the physical copies of Morrowind you used to get, it actually came with a very, very detailed map. You think the map for Oblivion and Skyrim are detailed? They got nothing on the map for Morrowind. I'm pretty sure I have it around here somewhere. Maybe I'll post a video up. It's all beat up. It looks all worn out. Just like maps used to look like in cartoons and all that stuff. I'll have to find it for sure. And I'll post a video and maybe we can look at some points of interest on that map. So let's get out of this. And I know this barrel has stuff in it. It has an engraved ring of healing. I'll take that. And we'll leave this dude's wooden spoon. You now have a magic item where you can see all your powers, spells, and magic items. Why did I think it said that? You now have a magic menu where you can see all your powers, spells, and magic items. Like all menus, right-click to use your new menu. Click the spell or magic item you want to make your active magic. Press R to ready your active magic, then click to cast. Wind chimes. That's cool. Alright, let's equip the ring. Engraved Ring of Healing. Restore health 1 to 5 points on self. Charge 20. Now that's equipped. Anything that's highlighted in these little boxes is equipped. Let's get going.
Your papers, please.
Press E to talk to the captain. Select topics to ask about them. Don't try persuasion on him. If you're not good at it, he will start to dislike you. Duly noted. That looks pretty cool. Nice. Alright. First, let me take your identification papers. Thank you. Word of your arrival only reached me yesterday. I am Salus Gravius, but my background is not important. I'm here to welcome you to Morrowind. Release identification has been removed from your inventory. Yes, this game is not voice dialogue. It's a lot of reading. So, good thing I like to read. And background. I am Salus Gravius, Knight Errant of the Imperial Legion. Yes, you pick topics as to further conversation. Morrowind. Yes, you're in Morrowind. I don't know why you're here, or why you were released from the prison and shipped here. But your authorization comes directly from Emperor Uriel Septim VII himself, and I don't need to know any more than that. When you leave this office, you are free, but before you go, I have instructions on your duties, instructions from the Emperor, so pay careful attention. Let's click on Uriel Septim. Yes, Uriel Septim is still the Emperor. According to my instructions, he personally authorized your release from prison and your delivery here. It's all very mysterious, but that's the way the Empire works. Silence, secrecy. Let not the left hand know what the right hand is doing. Let's click on the Empire. Yes, of course, this is the Empire. This is Vardenfell district of the province of Morrowind, and Morrowind has been part of the Empire for over 400 years. The current Emperor is Uriel Septim, 24th of the Septim line. You haven't been in prison that long, have you? Nothing wrong with your head, is there? The men said you were acting a little strange when they brought you in from the ship. On Morrowind. Oh, we already read that. We already read the Empire. Alright, let's click on duties then. This package came with the news of your arrival. You are to take it to Caius Casades in the town of Balmora. Go to the Southwall Corner Club and ask for Caius Casades. They'll know where to They'll know where to find him. Serve him as you would serve the Emperor himself. I also have a letter for you, and a dispersal to your name. Let's click on Caius Casades. Your journal has been updated. Directions to Caius Casades has been added to your inventory. Package for Caius Casades has been added to your inventory. And 87 gold has been added to your inventory. Caius Casades. Report to Caius Casades in Balmora. I can't tell you where to find him, but you are to go to the South Wall Corner Club and ask for him. Someone there can direct you to him. Let's click on Balmora. Balmora is north of Seyda-Neen. The road passes Pelagiad Village and Fort Pelagiad. Crosses a deep ravine, I'm just laughing because these directions, passes Fort Moonmoth, then turns west across the Odai River and into Balmora. The Southwall Corner Club is in southeast Balmora, on the east side of the river. For more detailed directions, talk to Elone, the scout at Arl's Trade House, here in Seyda-Neen. But take my advice, you're new here. Take the Silt Strider to Balmora. Fast, cheap, safe. Cross the bridge and head east. You can't miss it. Let's read about the Silt Strider. Silt Striders carry passengers and cargo between settlements on Vardenfell. Fares depend on distance to be traveled. Silt Striders are giant insects. A compartment for passengers and cargo is hollowed out from the creature's shell. The driver directs the beast by directly manipulating exposed organs and tissues. Silt Striders travel between Aldrune, Balmora, Seyda-Neen, Suran, Nisus, Kul, Molag Mar, Margan, and North Landing near Vivek. Okay, I think I exhausted all options. Goodbye. Let's get going. Press J to use your journal and review what you've been told. You should probably check out Arl's Trade House up on the left. You're on your own now. Good luck. Okay, let's look at the journal really quick. Oh, I didn't do anything. Oh, there it is. That cat sound is pretty legit. My orders are to go to the town of Balmora in Vardenfell district and report to a man named Caius Casades. To find out where he lives, I should ask about Balmora at the corner club called Southwall. When I find Caius Casades, I must give him a package of documents and wait for further orders. Okay, it's pretty detailed. Let's take a look out here really quick. Now that we're free, and let's save our game. F5 does it. It's a quick save. Oh, that's a beaut. That's pretty cool. I do like how these plants get out of your way as you move, as they should. Okay, and I happen to know where Arl's Trade House is. Oh man, there's probably gonna be a few times where I just kind of stop and look around. We'll explore Seyda-Neen in a second. There's not a whole lot to see. That is a lighthouse, though. It's cooler when you see it at night. But let's go to Arl's Trade House. And I feel like this is really important to do. Assuming you get the limeware platter that I showed you guys to steal. Because this kind of will make the starting of the game a little bit easier for you. Because believe me, when you first get into combat...
Can we hurry this along?
When you first get into combat, you're going to be a little shook. Let's talk to Arl. Welcome to Arl's Trade House. I'm Arl, publican and proprietor. Don't take what doesn't belong to you. You're a new face here. If you want to buy from me, you have to barter. If you want a little advice, free to new customers, just ask. Would you like to hear about our most popular potions, our most popular scrolls? Let's see what a little bit of advice says. If you want to live to a ripe old age, buy a weapon and as much armor as you can. Wear as you can wear, and still run from trouble. Buy a spell or two, and practice your skills. Don't practice on citizens. We call that foul murder, and we don't like it. But you can kill smugglers, and bandits, and other outlaws all you like. Outlaws have no rights. Plenty of adventurers make a living from killing and looting outlaws. That smuggler scum down in Adamasartis, for instance. Adamasartis, that's the name of a smuggler scum. That smuggler scum down at Adamasartis, for instance. It's a cave. The cave down near the Silt Strider platform. Alright, that's cool. That's barter, though. And bartering is interesting in Morrowind. Let's see. So, for example, let's use this limeware platter. It says its value is 650, but because our barter, or In this game, I think it's... I don't know what it is, but let's put the limeware platter up. So it went from our inventory to here, and it's got a red box around it. However, he's only offering me 266 for the platter. He does have a total of 800 gold though, versus my 118. Not that that has anything to do with, just his max gold is what's important here. So I'm gonna raise what he's offering me to 300, and we'll work back from there. I'm not gonna get 300 if my mercantile, that's the skill. If my mercantile was higher, I could probably go a lot higher than this, but we're just starting out. So let's offer. And of course, oh, wow, it worked. I probably should have asked for more. Okay, let's barter again. And this time I'll just kind of put everything out there. And so we got the silver bowls. If you don't feel like going over here and messing with the slider, you can just hit enter, and that'll put it up. That was for multiple items. Let's see, picture, just hit enter. Silverware knife, silverware fork, silverware cup, and the silver candelabra. Oh yeah, let's sell the firmament. I mean, if you just collect every book, you're gonna get weighed down. So, although it was a cool looking book. Alright, I think that's all I'm selling because the rest of these are alchemical. Oh, the Flynn. That stuff that's worth 100 gold. Let's sell it too. So, even though that thing alone is worth 100 gold and everything else is worth a bit more, there's only 124 being offered to me. I'm going to increase this to 160 and work my way back from there as well. It might not work right off the bat, but if it does, okay. Offer refused. I'm going to reduce by 5. Offer. Still refused. 150. There we go. And mercantile skill increased to 6. So haggling does do some good. Before I continue bartering, let's see. Gold, 568. Interesting. Let's talk to him again. And this is what I recommend to everybody starting out here. Go to spells and buy some stuff. There's supposed to be a healing spell here. Well, either way, we want Spark, so buy that. You want Fireball. I know what I said about fire spells earlier, but fire works very well against creatures and other beasts you come across, so I'll get that, and I'll get Frostbite. I think, yes, that is like a melee range spell. The Fireball and the Shock spell, Spark spell, are both ranged, so I'll buy that too. Let's see, Father's Hand, Delusion, Jack of Trades, increases luck, and resist magicka. Either way, we're good with what we just got. There's typically a healing spell here. I'm surprised it's gone. It was here when I was doing my first trial run in the game, just making sure everything was working right.
Speak quickly, Outlander, or go away.
Oh wow, they made these faces really cool though. Is that a stove? Oh, that's pretty awesome. Alright. So, you go into your spells area, and you have spells now. Oh, Hearth Heal. Interesting. Sorry, guys. I'm learning here. So, remember I was saying there's supposed to be a healing spell there, but because I have Restoration as a skill, I already had Hearth Heal in my powers, in my spell book basically. So that's interesting. Let's look at that again. Now, the thing is, Hearth Heal. Now I was talking about chance to cast and succeed and whatnot. Hearth Heal. So we have cost and chance. Hearth Heal costs 13 magicka to cast, and I have a 71% chance to cast it, or to successfully cast it. So that's interesting because if you're ever in combat and you need to get off that healing spell, well, there's a 29% chance you might fail. That's not too bad, but I'll take it. So anyway, you ready your spells by pushing R. Oh, that's interesting. I guess I have to equip them. So we'll equip Fireball. So I have it linked to my mouse wheel. I can cycle through my spells. And that's cycling down. If I slide up, since I only have one melee weapon, it'll only choose the dagger. Let's go outside and cast a spell though. Let's see, we got Spark. I don't want to cast it near anybody, so... these water effects are so good. Okay. It's kind of getting close to the end of this video, but I just want to cast the spell on something. So let's go out here. Ready my spells. So I have Spark equipped. What's out here? Oh man, this looks so cool. I really can't wait to just start doing some exploring. Wow. Ooh, that's interesting. This is actually now a chemical ingredient, so I'll harvest this. Kind of feel bad taking it because it just looked pretty. Let's see. Oh, holy moly, that thing just kind of popped up. This is the mud crab, guys. He's coming at me, so I'm not gonna let this happen. Not today, guy. Okay, if you saw down here in the left corner, there was a yellow bar. That was his health bar. That was Spark. Let's cast Fireball on him. And he's dead. D-E-D. Alright, take the mud crab meat. And I happen to have a mod. So, let's see here. 67 of 75. In the base game of Morrowind, your magicka does not regenerate. I got the graphics extender and everything else, but I included one more mod, and that was Fair Magicka Regen. It's slow, but it will regenerate, so let's count to 5 and see what we get. It was at 68 of 75. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm at 70, so every 5 seconds I'm going to be regenerating 2 magicka. I wonder if willpower has anything to do with that. Maybe it'll increase the speed. I didn't read up on the mod too much. I just wanted something because, well, magicka is important in this game, and I want to be able to naturally regenerate magicka, just like in Morrowind and just like in Oblivion. Okay, folks, let's cast a fireball at something, just to see the range, I guess. Okay. That was pretty cool, actually. Let's see how Spark looks at this range. Interesting. Let's see how if it travels all the way across the lake. I like that sound. Oh, awesome. Let's try Fireball. The rest of my spells are kind of just like melee range spells. Oh yeah, that's great. Okay, folks, that's gonna do it. I will be resuming with, I will actually explore Satanin and moving on from there. That's gonna do it for today. Join me next time for episode 2. You guys have a good one. See you next time.